Hey everyone, today on People Now, a baby on the way for Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom. We have details.
A man with symptoms ignored quarantine, went to a party, then was diagnosed with coronavirus. We'll tell you what happened next.
Chrissy Teigen reveals she has breast implants and why she wants them out now.
I've never seen her before.
Everyone is binging Love is Blind on Netflix. Fan favorites Lauren Speed and Cameron Hamilton are here with an update on their whirlwind love story.
Plus,
reliving was both, revealing, but also difficult.
Hillary Clinton gets real about her new Hulu doc, the Democratic primary, and if she would consider jumping in the race with the nominee.
It's all live today on People Now. Let's go.
Hey, happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to People Now. Almost to the weekend.
Jeremy, Lauren and Cam from Love is Blind are here. I actually got to meet them yesterday.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to talk to them again. I can just feel the love radiating from them.
I'm kind of glad that you got a little bit out of your system because I don't know, you are like
I'm
the
obsessed.
queen fan of the show,
Yeah.
and you were like, before it was cool, you were a fan.
Oh,
like, you
yeah.
knew.
I know. I'm a super fan.
So, yeah,
and
so
I love them.
it's-
And you're going to love them too.
So we're all going to fan out with them together. We're going to start off today with some exciting news, though, from Katy Perry. She is pregnant. Watch this.
I'm eating dried mango. I'm very hungry because it's very true.
Yeah, Perry confirmed her pregnancy during an Instagram Live after the music video for her new song, Never Worn White, premiered on Thursday. In the live video, the singer is munching on dry mangoes and says that her pregnancy is probably the longest secret she's ever had to keep. She went on to reveal that her due date is sometime this summer. She said there's a lot that will be happening this summer. Not only will I be giving birth, literally, but also figuratively. Perry's referring to her upcoming album there as well. In the live video, Perry added that she and Bloom are excited and happy about having a baby. She also gave some insight into her pregnancy cravings. She says, quote, literally never cared for spice, and now I have to carry Tabasco sauce in my purse. So some things have changed. She adds that she's grossed out by beef. She tells fans, I'm not really into red meat. Thank God for the Impossible Burger. Katy also revealed her wedding with Orlando Bloom will be the first time that she will wear a white wedding dress. She married Russell Brand back in 2010, and she confirms that in her first wedding, she wore Dove Gray. Now, in the new song, she sings about her fears of commitment, but that she's ready for a life of happiness. Take a listen.
I really want to say I do.
I like it. The song's video ends with Perry caressing her belly in a white dress, and she turns to the side while wearing a sheer outfit. This will be Perry's first child and Bloom's second. The actor's already a father to his 9-year-old son, Flynn, who he shares with his ex-wife, Miranda Kerr.
So happy for them. In honor of Katy Perry's big baby news and her revealing it in her new music video, we want to know how you revealed your baby news to the world.
You can tweet us with the hashtag #PeopleNow, but for now, we're going to move on to this.
Yeah, a serious story here. A New Hampshire man ignored medical advice to stay home after showing symptoms of the coronavirus. According to the New York Times, the man who works at the Dartmouth Hitchcock Medical Center visited a doctor showing signs of a fever and respiratory problems. That same night, he went out to a mixer at a crowded music venue. 3 days later, he tested positive for the virus. And now a second case in the state has been confirmed from someone who had close contact with the patient. The man came down with flu-like symptoms after a trip to Italy and is now officially ordered to quarantine himself at home. The coronavirus has also had an impact on international markets and businesses. Toy company Hasbro announced on Thursday that the outbreak will likely cause production delays for the company's Baby Yoda toy. The toy was expected to hit stores in May, but the company said in a statement on Thursday, quote, the occurrence of these types of events can result, and in the case of the coronavirus has resulted in, disruptions and damage to our business caused by both the negative impact to our ability to design, develop, manufacture, and ship product, the supply side impact, and the negative impact on consumer purchasing behavior, the demand side impact. The company's CFO, Deborah Thomas, told the New York Post that the company is working to mitigate the impact on its partnering manufacturing factories. So face masks are also being placed on back order. The shortage has led the U.S. Surgeon General to urge Americans to stop buying the masks, stating that they're not effective. So far, there have been 159 cases with 11 deaths from coronavirus-related illnesses confirmed in the United States. Worldwide, there are over 96,000 confirmed cases, with most occurring in China, though new cases there have slowed.
All right, let's shift gears here and talk about this. On day 3 of their royal tour of Ireland, the royal couple headed to Galway for a number of engagements. These included visiting a traditional small family-owned Irish pub that's in the city center. They were gifted a $200 bottle of 2019 Middleton Very Rare whiskey. The couple also chatted with locals outside the pub. One local who told us that Kate and William were down-to-earth, humble people, and that they connect with people. Very nice. Meanwhile, Prince William stole the show earlier in the day. We love this. He showed off these impressive juggling skills at an event celebrating Galway as the 2020 European Capital of Culture.
He's pretty good, Jeremy. We both juggle, so we are experts when it comes to this.
We can say with a bit of authority that he's good. That's not all, though. The royal couple also tried their hand at the traditional Gaelic sport of hurling when they visited the Gaelic Athletic Association. And on Wednesday night, Kate struck a pose in her most chic photo from the tour. She stepped out in a vintage magenta dress by Oscar de la Renta, had black polka dots, and a ruffled collar. Our fashion teams were loving the look.
Yes, all right. Chrissy Teigen is opening up about going under the knife in a candid new interview with Glamour UK. She reveals that she had breast enhancement surgery early in her career. She says, quote, "I did my boobs when I was about 20 years old. It was more for a swimsuit thing. I thought if I'm going to be posing laid on my back, I want them to be perky. But then you have babies and they fill up with milk and deflate, and now I am screwed." There's Chrissy for you. Teigen, who made her modeling debut in the 2010 Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue, explained that she actually kept them the same size. She just, quote, "filled them out so they are rounder and firmer." But now Teigen says she wants them out. She says, quote, "If I could do one thing, it would be to have a lift." However, Teigen says she's hesitant to get plastic surgery again now that she's a mom because she worries about the risks of surgery. Teigen also talks about body confidence and self-esteem. She says, quote, "I used to weigh myself every morning, afternoon, and night. I knew what the scales would say after each meal." She revealed she did that for 8 years, but that all changed with the birth of her daughter, Luna, and then really changed with the birth of her son, Miles. Teigen says, quote, "It took me a year to be comfortable with my new normal number." Really nice to hear from her about that.
Yeah, and I'm loving lately the videos she's posting of Miles.
Oh,
so
yeah.
adorable. Oh,
So they
my
look
goodness.
just like their parents.
Absolutely. All right, guys, watch this.
We have an unwritten rule that nobody goes ahead of somebody else. Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, if you're going to binge, you've got to binge together.
The couple that binges together, you know how that goes. It's trouble if you don't. I caught up with Hillary Clinton at the premiere of her new Hulu docuseries Hillary on Wednesday night in New York City. We talked about all that's going on in the heat of the Democratic primaries and if Hillary would consider getting more involved. Take a listen.
Would you consider joining a ticket if someone wanted you to be a running mate? Why or why not?
I'm just not thinking about that. I think the real question is who's going to end up being our nominee, and then are we going to be united to achieve what is a critical goal of defeating Donald Trump? That's all anybody should be thinking about.
Were you surprised by Joe Biden's sudden resurgence?
I really wasn't. I thought that he would do very well in South Carolina, and that momentum just took hold, and he did extremely well last night.
Kind of interesting to get her take on it, and interesting she did not say no regarding joining a ticket as a VP. She said she's not thinking about it. So that's not a no for people that, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It seems like the politicians say and don't say things for reasons.
So you never know.
You never know. The 4-part docuseries is an intimate look at Hillary and reveals never-before-seen footage of all the ups and downs from the 2016 campaign. I asked her if there were parts that hit her more emotionally than she thought they would. Take a look.
Oh, that happened so much. I mean, I was interviewed for 35 hours, and because it was about my whole life, you know, the enormous highs and some of the lows, some of the great achievements and the disappointments, there was a lot that reliving was both, you know, revealing, but also difficult.
Hillary drops on Hulu on March 6th. All right, stay with us. Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar are opening up about their 20-year relationship and doing it once a week. It turns out probably not the it that you're thinking of. Stick around for that. Plus, it's the couple that warmed everyone's hearts on Netflix's Love is Blind. Lauren Speed and Cameron Hamilton are here live. Stick around.
All right, Demi Lovato is getting candid about her longtime eating disorder and her 2018 drug overdose. On Thursday's episode of The Ellen DeGeneres Show, Demi debuted a clip of her upcoming new single, I Love Me, and spoke about how she came to embrace the song's uplifting message after struggling with feeling controlled during her eating disorder recovery. Watch this.
I lived a life for the past 6 years that I felt like wasn't my own because I struggled really hard with an eating disorder, yes, and that was my primary problem, and then it turned into other things, but my life, I just felt it was so, and I hate to use this word, but I felt like it was controlled by so many people around me.
It's interesting to hear her open up. She later mentioned that her former team would actually take the phone out of her hotel room so she wouldn't call for room service. And Demi added that for many years, she didn't have a birthday cake. She would eat watermelon cake with fat-free whipped cream on her birthday instead. She did mention that for her 27th birthday, her new team got her the best birthday cake ever. It's just interesting to hear how much the team seemed to have control over everything she did.
Yeah, I mean, I really like hearing her open up like this because there's a lot of people struggling with it, so it's really inspiring to them. Now, Lovato also spoke about her overdose in July of 2018, saying that her eating disorder recovery was one of the triggering factors in her relapse. Take a look at this.
Over time, as you know, the things with the eating disorder were getting bad. I mean, over the years, it progressively got worse and worse with people checking what my orders at Starbucks were on my bank statements. Like, just little things like that. It led me to being really, really unhappy. My bulimia got really bad, and I asked for help, and I didn't receive the help that I needed. And so I was stuck in this like unhappy position, and here I am sober, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm 6 years sober, but I'm miserable. I'm even more miserable than I was when I was drinking. Why am I sober? I think it's important that I sit here on this stage and tell you at home, or you in the audience, or you right here, that if you do go through this, you yourself can get through it. You can get to the other side, and it may be bumpy, but you are a 10 out of 10. Like, don't forget it. And as long as you take the responsibility, you can move past it and learn to love yourself the way that you deserve to be loved.
Wow, very well said. Such a powerful interview there. If you or someone you know is battling an eating disorder, please contact the National Eating Disorders Association at 1-800-931-2237 or go to nationaleatingdisorders.org. All right, remember that runaway bride shown in the previews for Netflix's Love is Blind? We all remember this clip. Well, for Giannina Gibelli and Damian Powers, that turned out to be just a dramatic blip in a lasting relationship.
Yeah, after going on pod dates and getting engaged without seeing each other after just a few days, Giannina and Damian went through their fair share of ups and downs as they simultaneously got to know each other and planned their wedding only weeks later.
Yeah, they fought, they made some low blows, but they also talked through much of their differences. So when the big day arrived, Giannina, who had been hesitant about marriage, decided she would marry Damian, but he said he couldn't go through with it.
Yeah, just a few hours later, Giannina reached out to Damian. They met to talk, and they've been together ever since. Giannina tells people that it's been, quote, nice to be in our own space, in our own time, in our own everything, our own terms.
Damian says that even after the wedding, they weren't sure they'd ever see each other again. Giannina says they're now taking it day by day. And Damian adds that keeping the relationship private for over a year has been very difficult at times.
I'll say so. And coming up, we are talking with Lauren Speed and Cameron Hamilton from Love is Blind. That's later in the show. Stick around for them. We move forward to this. For more than 3 decades, Lady Anne Glen Connors was not only a close confidant to the Queen's sister, Princess Margaret, but she was also a witness to history. And now she's telling us that what she treasures most about her time with Margaret are the personal, intimate moments that they shared and how they would roar with laughter together, as she put it.
She's also opening up in a candid new memoir, Lady in Waiting, My Extraordinary Life in the Shadow of the Crown. This week's issue of People features an exclusive excerpt prior to its March 24th release date.
The book explores Lady Glen Connors' extraordinary life, including her experience as one of the Queen's attendants at her 1953 coronation. It also features memories of exotic escapes to the Caribbean with Margaret and an eyewitness account of Margaret's marriage to photographer Anthony Armstrong Jones. Anyone who's seen The Crown will know all about that. If you haven't, go back, watch it, binge it, the whole thing.
Lady Glen Connors gives us a glimpse of Margaret's personal side, like her reaction to giving up alcohol and cigarettes. She tells us when she had to give up smoking and drinking more or less at the same time, I admired her and I asked her, is it very hard? She said, no, Anne. Once I make up my mind to do something, I do it. She was practical like that.
Lady Glen Connors also gives her take on Netflix's The Crown.
I mean, yeah, you're kind of curious what she thinks of it.
Right.
Reflecting on actresses Vanessa Kirby and Helena Bonham Carter's portrayals of Princess Margaret, she tells us, quote, I didn't like the first one at all. She was too tall. Helena has the voice spot on. And Bonham Carter actually spoke with Lady Glen Connors for several hours as she researched for the role. They chatted about how Margaret smoked, how she walked, kind of how to get it all down. For more on Princess Margaret and Lady Glen Connors' relationship, pick up this week's issue of People on newsstands Friday.
In this week's issue of People, country star and mom of two, Carrie Underwood is opening up about how she gets through her crazy busy days.
I mean, she is very, very busy. Now, Underwood says that the hardest part of her day is getting out the door. Underwood and her husband, Mike Fisher, try to get up early so they can have a little quiet time before their kids wake up. But most of the time, the kids are the alarm clock. The family has breakfast together, and then it's all about the mad dash out the door.
For Underwood, exercise is her me time. She says, quote, "I'm a health nerd. It's a passion. I don't pamper myself often, and maybe I should be a little better at that, but working out to me is that. It helps me balance."
Yeah, she reveals to us that she and her husband want to make sure their children have a normal childhood, which is pretty hard because of the life that Underwood leads. She shares that it does stress her out.
I like this story. It's kind of cute. Recently, her 5-year-old son, Isaiah, told Underwood that her job is doing laundry. And she says that she kind of loved that because she says, quote, "I don't really want him to know what I do. Not that I'm keeping him in the dark, but it made me feel good that he sees me doing mom stuff."
Yeah, I like that. She also reveals that she feels like she has to flip a switch when on stage. She says, quote, "You can't be a big personality like that all the time. You could, but it would be exhausting."
For her and everyone around her.
Yes.
Underwood's workday ends when the kids go to bed, even if the counters aren't clean. She'll sit on the couch with her husband and catch up with them, watch The Bachelor, which we love, The Walking Dead. We could all be friends. She says, quote, "That's my balance. Work hard and then veg."
I'm Sarah Michelle Gellar.
And I'm Freddie Prinze Jr. And we want to talk to you about something affecting millions of households, a topic we care passionately about.
Doing it every night.
We get it. Until recently, we were only doing it once, maybe twice a week. Now we do it every night.
Run the dishwasher with Cascade Platinum.
It was a trick, guys. Freddie Prinze Jr. and Sarah Michelle Gellar are not only partners in life, they are also partners in this new Cascade campaign. Over their 18-year marriage, they probably wash a lot of dishes. They share with us exactly how they go about household chores as a couple. It's important. Take a listen.
The generic version would be I cook, she cleans, but that's not always the case. Like, if she doesn't get up when dinner's done and grab the dishes, we've been together long enough where I'm like, she's tired, I'll grab them. And vice versa, you know what I mean? So I remember I got asked a question yesterday about this. They were like, who does more? And I was like, yo, this ain't a competition. I know Twitter has polls and all social media has polls, so everything's a competition, but this is a marriage and it's a lot different. So I wasn't able to answer the question. So I don't know what our division of chores are. I just know they get done.
We try nowadays to only have one of us do the mornings with the kids, so that way the other one can sleep now that they're old enough, and it's sort of easier to function. No reason for two people to be like bumbling around the kitchen. In terms of dinners, if it's like a big feast, Freddie does the big like chef cooking, and then I wind up helping with the dishes. Doing the dishes. He'll say helping, I wind up doing them all. But now I can just shove them in the dishwasher, so it's easier.
And while Freddie and Sarah may handle most of the household responsibilities as a pair, they also make sure to get their kids involved too.
We just try to make our kids own what they do as a way of giving them a sense of responsibility. So my kids wash their own dishes. Now they have it easier because we learned, and now they just get to put them in the dishwasher so they don't waste water. But our children still do that. They take care of their own stuff. They make their own beds. They clean their own rooms. They're responsible for their toys. If a toy is not where it's supposed to be, they learn the hard way. And that stopped quick, you know what I mean? And it's not fun for parents to have to, be strict, and so that's why a lot of them aren't. But that's the only way I know how to be, and I know my kids act right. So we're pretty strict, and they have a sense of ownership, which I think is the best way for us to teach our kids responsibility.
Well, I think it's important for kids to understand that just by being kids, everything doesn't just show up. And I think especially in this day and age where there's so much instant gratification, you click a button and your toilet paper gets delivered to your house and your groceries and all that, they have to understand the value of working for stuff. And so I don't believe in paying kids for chores. I feel like that's part of living in a house, and you're responsible for keeping the house. And I'm obviously not going to give them like complicated chores.
And one of my favorite things about parenting is getting the kids to do the work.
Do you give them little rewards or anything?
Oh, yeah. They do get rewards,
Okay.
but hey, go clean, literally do the dishes.
Keep them in line.
Keep them in line.
The couple also opened up to us about their relationship. Their first date was 20 years ago. They told us how they each knew they had found the one.
From our first date, I didn't go on dates with other girls, nor did I even want to pursue dates with other girls.
We were friends for a very long time. We'd had many dinners before, and we were supposed to go with someone else, and the third person didn't make it out, and we decided to still go.
I had just been single when we linked up, so there were a lot of girls that left messages on my answering machine because I was young and sweet and pretty back then.
We were just two people at dinner catching up. We had a long car ride and a long dinner, and things just happened.
Neither one of us were into marriage. We didn't believe in it. And then one day, I just knew we were going to get married, and I knew I was going to propose. I didn't know when or how. And so I did, and fortunately, she was on the same page. My instincts were correct.
I think for the first time, it felt different. Maybe it was the right time for both of us in our lives.
Done romantic things for Sarah. I cook a lot of dinners. We get to have dinners together.
Freddie does the big chef cooking, and then I wind up helping with the dishes. He'll say helping, I wind up doing them all.
We're together because we like each other and we make each other laugh. When we get old and even grayer than I already am, one day I see us being on an island somewhere and being tan and fat and happy.
Time moves so quickly and just feel like it flies, and I just want to make sure that I'm participating in every moment and present, and being able to block out some of the distractions and really spend time with the people that I love.
I've met the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. I've never seen her before.
Here, you will choose someone to marry.
Hello.
Nice to hear from you. Can't say see ya without ever seeing them.
24/7. If you're ready to find the love of your life,
Game time.
the pods are now open.
Oh, I have chills, Jeremy. The Netflix show Love is Blind has taken over our lives. Although the season finale aired on February 27th, everyone is talking about this show. Love is Blind is about making connections without seeing the other person initially. It's pretty wild. We're here with one of the successes of the show, now married couple Lauren Speed and Cameron Hamilton. So nice to see you.
Congrats, guys.
I know. Okay, how surreal and crazy is this whole experience?
Oh man, it's super surreal, especially because we've been kind of holding the secret for the past year and a half. So now that it's out and everyone's just as excited as we are, or especially were back then, it's so heartwarming.
And these great perks. You were courtside at the Knicks.
Oh my God, girl!
So honored.
We were on the jumbotron. I was like, I know you're supposed to look at the camera, but I was like, it's me. It was
Is
nuts.
it kind of picture yourself through all these moments?
It's unbelievable. I can't believe it. I'm like, when do I wake up? When you get scared because you're too happy,
Yeah.
Oh my God.
When's the other shoe gonna drop? And
I
this is
know,
all
right?
a hoax or something.
Right.
Look, everybody's watching the show, and I think from my perspective, you can feel when something's big when, in our world, other celebrities walk in the door and they're talking about it,
Yeah.
which has been the case. We just yesterday had Clinton Kelly, the famous host. He came in, and all he could talk about was having just met you guys. Let's take a quick look.
Right. Yeah.
Let's take a look at him talking about meeting you.
We took a selfie.
I was saying in the back, I was like, I really would like to be in a throuple with them, but not in a sexual way, just to be married to both of them. I would just be happy to be part of their life, and I'd make them breakfast in the morning.
Okay, yeah.
What's your reaction to that? Is that a normal reaction?
Oh my God.
Sometimes we've heard that one before.
Have you? Really? Okay.
Yeah.
He's so great.
He was.
He's awesome.
Super sweet, man.
Yeah.
Any other big celebs that have been fans? I know that Kerry Washington.
Oh,
Right.
Kerry Washington.
That was
Kim
amazing.
Kardashian actually just tweeted about the show this morning, yesterday, or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Crazy.
yeah, I heard Miley Cyrus.
Shonda Rhimes.
Right. I mean, it keeps growing and growing.
I guess part of the fascination here, and what I've loved about it, is the conversations that start coming out of this show. What does it mean to fall in love? What does it mean to connect with someone and have different forms of intimacy besides sexual intimacy, which is what everyone immediately thinks of? For you guys, though, in the pods, take me back to that. When was the moment you knew, wait, there's something more here?
Yeah.
Yeah, we started talking about family, and that was the big initial link for us.
Yeah.
Family is huge to us. And when we got into our family and how much they mean to me, I started talking about my mom and her having Parkinson's disease, and just in general how much we love our family. And
Then we started crying together.
Yeah.
And then it was just okay, this is something
real.
different.
Yeah,
this
we
is
need to
something
focus
different.
here.
Absolutely. So from that point on, I was just okay, when am I meeting up with Cameron again? Cameron time.
yeah, we really look forward to these
Yeah.
dates, and it wasn't shown, but there was oftentimes we go into the pod and you'd be like, Lauren? And sometimes it would be like, No, it's Diamond.
Voices,
right?
Yeah. So then you meet each other for the first time face to face. You get to see each other. What was the moment like when you saw each other's faces?
Oh man, it was just magical because it had been such a build up to that point. So of course we're like nervous, I'm sweaty, I'm like, oh my God, like practically shaking. And then the, I guess, doors just opened and it was just like, oh my God, like this release of like just happiness and joy. Like he's so sexy, he has dreamy eyes. And on top of that, like he's beautiful on the inside. Well, really, on top of that, he's attractive. He's beautiful on the inside is the main thing.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, and we've talked about this, like, but watching it, I couldn't sit down. With the reveal, I was just like, oh my gosh, how's it gonna go? How's it gonna go? Like, oh my, and then I'm watching your faces, like, are they equally impressed? And you could see it in your faces that you guys were all in. You've talked about the fact this is your first interracial relationship.
Yes, it is.
How has that played out? What's the fan response? What sort of unique maybe challenges has that?
It's actually been really cool. Like the fan response has been great because people are actually saying that I'm inspiring them, we're inspiring them, and they're just so supportive and they're happy to see something like our relationship play out on reality TV in such a real and authentic way. Like we're not trying to sugarcoat anything. Like I talk about my real concerns, how I really feel about things, and so does Cameron. And
absolutely.
Yeah, people are they appreciate the transparency.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of support on social media for
absolutely.
it. And you've actually been married for a year and a half now.
Yeah.
Right? As viewers, we see it as the newlyweds, but it's been a year and a half. So what's been the biggest change over the last year and a half?
Ooh.
I think just becoming more like each other and figuring out how to work together as a team. As a married couple, you have to, and otherwise it's just not going to work in the long
Evolution.
I'll never forget the scene where Lauren was saying she hates when people use her toothbrush, and that would be a big deal breaker. So have you sorted that out? No mistakes?
There will be no sharing.
Yeah.
You better not.
I mean, I haven't used her toothbrush that she knows about it.
Okay, all right. As long
Wait
as
a minute, what do you mean?
By the way, can I just say, I feel like this would be the easiest thing to not do.
Yeah, right?
Like, who really wants to use someone else? Is it like, no, we're connected in every way?
Right.
I actually had some couples say that they like to do that. Like, they wrote to me, like, I like it. It's a sense of intimacy. I was like, whatever works for you.
That's a sense of a hygiene problem.
Thank you.
It was an emergency case.
Yeah, okay, yes. I'd rather that than not brush teeth. But generally speaking, there's another tooth. Anyway, all right. So, any other pet peeves that have kind of come up?
Well,
I mean, too soon to say, too close to the fire here.
Yeah,
we can't yet laugh about it.
Little things here and there. I mean, we've got like dishes. I know that's like a classic married thing.
When you live with somebody and you're like, okay, I like when after you finish a dish you're eating, it's like just put it in the dishwasher, rinse it. Cameron likes to leave it on the sink for a little while. I'm like, that's how you get ants.
And she just puts the dishes in like a Picasso painting. It's just like,
nice.
No rhyme
wherever it fits.
It's a battle of like who can handle the mess the longest, right?
Right,
That's where the problems come.
Basically.
You guys told me yesterday that you want to do another wedding or a vow renewal, but with more family there. So besides having more family, what are some of the must-haves for each of you? Is it the music or something you have to have?
To me, music is everything. Like, I come from a musical family. The music has to be right because I feel like if it's good, then it puts people in a good mood.
It does, yeah.
For sure. What about you, baby?
I think just having more friends and family there, our friends and family were only really given like a couple weeks notice before the wedding, and we're so thankful that they kind of really just dropped everything to make it to this a special day. So
All right, so the big reunion is tonight. What can you tell us?
Ooh, it's released, so it's already out now, and it's some drama in there. It's some tears, a lot of tears.
Did you watch back?
I did. Okay. I watched it this morning.
And how it played out? Were you surprised about anything, the way it was presented in the final cut?
No, actually. I mean, I feel like it was pretty accurate.
Okay.
Pretty accurate. The tears, the closure, even I was on there. Oh, I shouldn't say too much. It was a lot of closure, a lot of emotions, even some happy moments. So it's good.
Anything you wish that would have been included that wasn't?
In the reunion?
Yeah.
I feel like everything.
No, you're good?
Kind of sealed it up.
Yeah. All the good parts are in there.
All right.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Excited to follow along with the next steps. Everyone catch the Love is Blind reunion on Netflix.
Well, guys, we sometimes get too caught up in the world of social media and influencers. The new film, The Social Ones, is about just that.
Executive producer and actress Stephanie March, alongside her co-executive producers and co-stars Laura and Danielle Kosan, stopped by to talk to us about the movie, including what they learned about themselves while making it. Take a look.
I won't speak for everybody, but I would say my relationship with social media is kind of love and hate. I think certainly for a while it was a little bit too important to me, and watching this movie and working on this movie and also needing social media to promote this movie, which is kind of a weird thing because I think there's a balance there. When it's to promote a project you're proud of and you love, that's great. But when you just constantly pick up your phone to see how many likes you have, maybe not so great.
I think I learned that it's really wonderful to be able to wear a lot of hats and work with a team of women like this that just kind of, you know, we all support each other, and it made like the movie and the environment just so much better.
Now, Laura and Danielle are not only sisters, they're also business partners running their female-driven production company, The New Potato.
Laura and I, you know, when we kind of pivoted our business to do more of this filmmaking stuff, it was definitely, you know, I think we just learned that we can be creative in this way was really exciting. And for me, I am not an actor, and so to learn that I could perform, and because Laura was such a good director, that was definitely something that was a big.
She's so good at being deadpan.
Yeah.
What I was going to say, I'm not even joking. As you're doing this, I literally was about to say, I just feel like I'm in it right now. Like I feel like I can just see you guys slipping into your people, and you do it so well, and it's so believable.
Give us 30 minutes, and
maybe that's what it is. It's just you. It just turns out maybe that's it. But let's talk about this Women's History Month, an all-female cast, an all-female crew, at least for the most part, the majority. Talk about the difference that makes, and the vibe, and why you would be proud of that.
Well, to be fair, we have several men in our cast who are great, and men on the crew, but it is predominantly female written and directed, art directed, executive produced, and there were a lot of women on our crew. And I will say I've been on many sets, and all of them have had great things one way or another, but our set ran really smoothly. We often wrapped early, we didn't take ourselves too seriously, we weren't so precious with every shot. I think people felt respected. It was a really nice environment, and I'm really proud of that. I think that stems from our relationship to each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's not to say that men don't also run amazing sets, but it was interesting. We had so many people kind of come up to us during the process and be like, I really feel heard. You know, I really feel like, even with hair and makeup and wardrobe and also just the frames and the visual, I think there was a very close, you know, attention to detail and curation that was very special to kind of this female team.
So from 2000 to 2018, Stephanie March starred on Law & Order SVU, so she definitely has experience on a set. So from her point of view, what was the main difference between a mostly female-driven production versus a male one? Watch.
I wouldn't want to offend anyone, but I will, you know, anyone, Jeremy.
Yeah, right, anyone particular.
Anyone particular sitting here who might not be female. But to your point, I think, you know, I've had enough experience where I felt like a prop who's been moved around, but I'm a person, and I'm involved in a creative experience, and so we wanted to make sure that everybody really felt heard, from the cameraman to people on the sound to the actors, and I think just a sort of warm communal environment was created, and we are a team, and everybody who's working with us is a team, and no one's more important than the other, and I think that's what we tried to impart to this environment.
Laura Kosan wrote and directed The Social Ones and says the project was a therapeutic answer to the frustrating world of social media. Take a look.
I think that, you know, in a way, writing it and it, you know, pouring out was very therapeutic, and just making it because it was just a way of laughing at this, you know, alternate universe of social media that we all can kind of relate to. You know, no matter who you are, if you have 3 followers, 3 million followers, everyone can really relate to how crazy it's become. And it is also a conversation about social media and mental health, which is why I invented Stephanie's part, who is a psychiatrist just tasked with treating social media anxiety disorder.
Danielle and Laura talked to us about the best part about working with each other, and since it's Women's History Month, we had to ask our guests who they look up to the most in Hollywood.
Yeah. We've worked together we started The New Potato as an online magazine and have since sort of pivoted to be more of a creative studio. So we've had many years of kind of learning, but for us it's really about celebrating each other's strengths, and we both have such different strengths and weaknesses. So when you kind of support those and you learn how to not step on each other's toes, then it kind of becomes really easy and really fun. And we're best friends, and kind of finish each other's sentences. Yeah.
Are there any
telepathic?
Yeah, we are telepathic.
It was almost happening right there.
Yeah, right.
Are there any women in Hollywood in particular that you really look up to?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. There are so many. I will tell you, I take every opportunity to announce my crush on Mindy Kaling.
Okay.
I'm such a huge fan ever since she did the Mindy Project, and she has worn all the hats. You know, she's a writer on The Office, she's a producer, I think she directed a couple of her own episodes. She certainly writes for her own show, and she's become, I mean, I would say a brand, but she's so much more. She's just a creative, interesting force in Hollywood, and she's not, I mean, I can't even, how old is she? She's in her 30s. Anyway, she's a single mom. She's kind of a little bit of everything that I think is so wonderful about women and how creative we can be, and I'm such a fan.
So you look up to?
I mean, honestly, recently, I think Phoebe Waller-Bridge is a big one for me. I just think that her humor and just what she did with Fleabag season 2 was just unbelievable, and just everything she's doing in general, Killing Eve, and she's writing on the new James Bond movie, which is unbelievable, and Greta Gerwig, big time. Yeah, she's really inspiring. So I think those are two big ones for me.
Issa Rae, we're a big fan of too. We love her. And she's really talented.
So funny.
They were so great. You can check out The Social Ones, available now on all digital platforms.
All right, actress Heather Graham is opening up about her career and her life in this week's People magazine and tells us that she is all about feeling good from the inside out.
The 50-year-old tells People that she is focusing on a healthy lifestyle, explaining, quote, "I love yoga, I meditate, I do affirmation every day." She adds that culture might tell you to feel bad about yourself, but she says now's the time to feel even better.
Absolutely, I like that. Graham also reflected on her career and thinks her hit movie Boogie Nights with Mark Wahlberg is iconic, and we agree. She played, of course, a skate-loving porn star named Roller Girl in that film.
Now, Graham was one of the more than 80 women to accuse Harvey Weinstein of unwanted sexual advances. And she says she is done working for so many male directors.
After 33 years in front of the camera, the actress wonders, where's that movie told from a woman's point of view? Graham explains, we've been subjected to only seeing most stories from a man's point of view, and she wants that to change.
The actress tells People she decided to mostly watch movies about women by women, adding they're more uplifting and inspiring.
All right, guys, coming up tomorrow, we are talking with Jazz Sinclair and Lachlan Watson from Netflix's Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yeah, excited for them. Plus, Nina Dobrev and Ben Platt are here talking about their new film, Run This Town. Thank you for watching. For now, we leave you with one last thing from this trailblazer. Watch.
Bye, guys.
Hi there, I'm Kelly Ripa, and this is One Last Thing. Doom, doom, doom. Last time I was starstruck was, I'm going to say at the Academy Awards, and I saw Al Pacino backstage, and that was very exciting.
My last moment of bliss was, I'm trying to think back to when my husband was in town. I want to say 4 days ago. I think if we're talking about the same thing. And the last time I couldn't stop laughing was future me watching this interview, probably. I will be laughing at how ridiculous my answers are. We're gonna be totally naked.
At all times.
At all times.